Hello and welcome to the Formnext series Hot Markets, this time with our partner country. All program items have been special so far, but the presentation of the partner country is always something very special in the context of Formnext. This year our partner country is called China, and as we did not have a large stand available, but a fantastic TV studio, we will talk to our guests virtually here at the Formnext Connect studio. China is already the third largest market in additive manufacturing, and with the government's 2025 plan, the clear goal is to become the world leader in this industry. We have selected experts for our panel who have a very different perspective on China, but for this very reason, they are the perfect mix to approach this country. I would like to welcome virtually connected to my studio Francois, Director Global Business Development at HeyGears, Bart Leferink, Vice President Europe, Middle East and Africa at Intamsys, joined by his colleague Colin, Marketing Director at Intamsys. Hello. Then we have Wang, the founder of 3D Science Valley by Additive Magazine. Hello together. Good to have you here. How are you this? I won't say this morning because it's not longer morning, right? Hello. Good to hear you.
Hello, Sven. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Hello, Sven. Good morning.
Hey guys. So Kitty, I would like to start with you. I mean, you are very close to the current market situation in China with your role. How do you see the current market development, and how is the current pandemic affecting the AM sector in China?
I would like to say it's a fact a little bit, but not too much. It's out of everybody's expectation. I think after Q2, China economic has met a very strong bounce back, especially for additive manufacturing. So we, our government planned for 20 billion RMB target for additive manufacturing this year, and I think we are heading to this target at this moment. And from 3D printing equipment and the material side, we can see that the technology is catching up very strongly, but at the moment, the price fighting is very fierce also. It's always a very serious issue in China. From application side, for the 3D printing service, you can see the strong growth from polymer and metal side, and a lot of 3D printing prototyping companies. According to HP, for example, take South China, for example, for electronic consumer products, some of the 3D printing service companies, they have seen 10% year-on-year base growth this year. And some of them, they are even thinking about or already purchased the metal 3D printers because they think this could better prepare for themselves for the future growth. And for aerospace industry, especially for China this year, we see a very strong growth. And now not only CM Bright Laser, CM BLT is who is specialized in providing the 3D printing service for aerospace industry, but we see a lot of new 3D printing bureaus emerged in China market in order to meet such kind of demand. So overall speaking, it's a very good trend. And you probably already heard some exciting news, such as we sent a rocket called Long March number 5B rocket to the space. And on that rocket, they equipped it with a 3D printer. And that was the first for China to experiment 3D printing in the space. And it is also first for China for us to print continuous carbon fiber in the space. So there are a lot of innovations, and the demand is strong. The trend is settled.
Very good. That sounds very positive indeed. But
thank you.
that's very positive, as far as I could hear that. We had on Monday our really exciting aerospace panel, and I see there's some connections. You should talk to the guys of Relativity Space. I mean, they're exactly in that field. Bart, Colin, question to you. I remember in the preparation, I heard this story that I really liked from Charles. If you look back in the time when Intamsys started and compared to today, the situation, I would say, is quite different, right? I remember Charles saying, in order to grow the business, we first had to go to Europe and could not start in China. How do you see China 7 years ago and today in additive manufacturing?
Oh, actually,
I'll leave the floor to you.
Yeah, this is our historical story that we start business from European countries and also U.S. market. Actually, we are a China-based company because at that time, China is not so mature level compared to the European countries that the additive manufacturing technology was adopted initially into the R&D process. Then later now we see lots of case that we use that into the production case. But China at that time was not so mature level, and people think 3D printer is just a desktop level that we use just to print some toys. But today, I would say China is slightly behind European country, but the gap is reducing. And if you look at some data point, if my memory is correct, so last year China is the second biggest countries in terms of the industrial additive manufacturing machines installed countries, second only to U.S. countries. So it is becoming very booming market compared to maybe 7 years or several years ago. And from the the manufacturing of made in China 2025, the nationwide policy and this technology is written into the policy that we will emphasize on that, invest on that, and we want to be one of the leader for that technology. So the things is improving China, and many more customers adopting this technology into their, not only in the R&D process, but also in the production process. So that's what I perceive today for China market.
Great. Leads me to Kim. Kim, good to have you here. Pardon? Bart?
Yes, if you allow me. Are you okay if I comment a bit on this?
Of course.
Because what I've observed, and also listening to Kitty and Colin, is also somewhat of a different dynamic of the marketplace. And I've experienced that also in I would say, operating or selling to China from Europe. So in the other way around than the relationship we have today with Intamsys. In that experience, I visited some very large facilities in Yingzhou province, in other areas where there are 10, 20, for instance, EOS or BLT machines usually in the mix, for reasons, Kitty, that you know, large machine parks with a lot of printers. And there is indeed a very strong investment and financially supported push for the Made in China 2025 program, as Colin referred to. And those investments are done. And then actually there is a lot of work being done afterwards to make sure there is enough work, enough jobs, enough print applications available. So it's not only to first have the perfect application with a perfect ROI, return on investment, defined, and then only there is a commercial, I would say, investment plan with a capital expense, that everything needs to really meet all the normal investment requirements. There is something else happening in China, as far as I observe it, and that is simply a very strong drive, push by programs to, you could say, quickly catch up and accelerate this, you could say, a new way of production into the ecosystem of China. And this is amazing. This is amazing. So there is a little bit more of a you could say a push and a pull, and not only a pull based because of applications and then machines being sold, I would say. So, but it doesn't make China therefore less interesting. At the contrary. So one of the points then, Sven, is that on the true jobs and applications, China is inspired, and that is what we've also seen, Colin, by many of the sample cases, many of the jobs, many of those, you could say, parts that were ROI, that where there is the return on investment is already clear, and then actually that is taken as an inspiration also for similar type of jobs in China to be done, and use that already quite large available network of printers to basically execute those type of jobs. So there's definitely a different dynamic, Sven. Mm-hmm.
That's great. Talking about dynamic, Bart, it was an excellent transfer again to Kim. You have been living in China since 2009, as far as I read it, and you told me. How did you experience the development inside the country? Because now we got the different perspectives, and you, as a foreigner, moved over to China. We talk about the reasons later. But how did you experience that kind of development over the last 11 years?
So I think it's also what Bart was referring to, and Colin and Kitty. So basically in 2009, people were not interested in 3D printing. They were not even thinking about it. Even if they were familiar with it, it was not something they wanted to invest in. For them, it was too expensive, too slow, all of this. So luckily for us all here in the market, in 2000.
The connection is bad. Kim, no problem. I will switch over to Kitty once and then come back to you later. Kitty, Bart mentioned the program. Okay. Bart mentioned the program Made in China 25. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because I mean, I remember when I was young. Yeah, if you saw a label Made in China, it tells you this is cheaply produced, okay? And nowadays, in my opinion, if we look at the major electronics we're using, it has changed totally already now. Yeah, I don't think anybody considers something coming out of China cheap anymore because the quality is so high compared to the recent years. But the current strategy from the government is focusing more on quality. How we can see that in the industry, and how are you experiencing that? So how do we see the quality aspect?
Yeah, China will not position ourselves as a manufacturing base for cheap stuff. Because if you take Apple, for example, everybody understands how much Foxconn earned and how much Apple earned. So it is very clear for the nation, if you want to be strong, not only earn money from the factory, but have a sustainable growth, you have to not only manufacturing, but to be very smart to manufacture. So this is basically the whole concept for China 2025. I think the core driver for China manufacturing 2025 is innovation. Since 3D printing is basically changing the design, from changing the design to influence the product added value, which is manufacturing added value. The added value is what China pursued. That is the whole concept. I believe that 3D printing, which additive manufacturing is a very big issue, very big highlight for China made 2025.
Great,
Yeah.
thank you. Kim, let's try again. Let's check your connection. Again, probably can include the feedback of Kitty in your answer. So how did you experience the development over the last years, and how do you see the initiative for more quality perception? Let me put it that way, perception, because in my opinion, the quality is almost there. I can't see any more differences, but with additives, there comes something added, indeed. Kim?
Yes. Yes, okay. So apologies for the drop of connection. So what I would say is that in 2009, there was really not a lot of interest. And then in 2012, everything changed. So now it's becoming a very much a booming market, and it's continued to be like that. So in the last 8 years, we have really seen a growth of the market, an understanding of 3D printed and an interest. And then it's also what you were mentioning as equality, but I feel like here they're constantly pushing for the limits. So here in China, people are constantly trying to innovate, to improve. They're constantly pushing for the limits. It's vibrant. It's super much alive. It's very nice to be in it. So it's a very, very energetic market. I see Kitty smiling as well, which I think she experiences as well. So we've seen here the development of all different kind of applications as well. So for example, here now at HeyGears in the last year, although there was COVID, I have to say that we have developed new products, we have brought out new machines for new and invested in new applications. We've been growing. I've seen people added to the company on a weekly basis. It's exciting, it's fast, it's amazing. So we're really pushing the limits here.
That's something that came to me. I was kind of jealous, to be honest, when we had the conversations about this panel, because I've been to China several times, and that's what we discussed, Kim. If you once are there and you see the dynamic, that's something that is infecting as well. So you see that and you want to be part of it. It reminds me of another time in other industries where you experience that push. Bart mentioned something really important, and I like this very much. So there's always a holistic approach. So where other countries might focus on, let's say, application or new machines, the Chinese market already thinks about where are the jobs afterwards, where is the part to make money out of it at a certain stage. So Kim, I mean, we discussed it also. What is the difference in mentality and approach from your perspective?
As you said, I've been here for 11 years, so I'm not sure whether I'm completely speaking as a full-blown European anymore. But from my experience, what I see is that here in China, there's a lot of trial and error, where the error is really not a negative word. So it means, okay, we're trying, we're pushing. If we make a mistake, we learn from it, we pick it up, and we go again. Where we see in Europe that really people are, and every way there is not one best or a worst way. So every way is different. But in Europe, they make plans. They want to have a perfect plan, and they discuss it a lot. And when they have the perfect plan, they will go into the market. Where we see here that maybe here they don't have this elaborate plan, but they will already go for plan A. If they make a mistake, they will go for plan B. And so it's very fast, and they learn on the way, which is amazing. So it's a completely different way of handling new opportunities, which also makes it a very fast market. That's one of the reasons.
So Bart and Colin, a question to you. So at the beginning, Colin, you went over to Europe in order to sell your machines over there. So you get in touch with a lot of Europeans, so experience the, let's say, the European way of approaching AM. Now you speed it up a lot. You just mentioned the gap is so much close, we cannot even talk longer about a gap. How do you see the impact of China on the overall worldwide AM development? So is that increasing, and what do you do in order to bring the way of speeding up to the rest of the AM community? Is there regular exchange?
Yeah, I would say before when our company started business in the Western countries, actually the the customers or the whole industry taught us a lot that how we regulate our design and manufacturing. Actually, we need to align with them, their regulation, local directive, media regulations, some noise, some electricity, lots of this mandatory directive that we need to follow. So, but today, actually, we accumulate lots of knowledge, expertise on how we design, how we're manufacturing, how we're launch our product to these countries. But actually, we can be faster than what we should be. Actually, in China, there's lots that our supply chain, the value chain, upstream, downstream is very complete, and then we can require very fast change on some design. If we want something we find some error or mistake, then we can be upgraded very fast. And this requires that we should be very fast response to our market, to our customers. And also here as our headquarters here in Shanghai, that we link to the 3 major continents, like European, like America, like also Asia Pacific market. So we need to react very timely to their response, so this requires very fast pace, and this cannot be imagined in European. I mean, your working style may be still very traditional, but here in the additive manufacturing industry, and because this is the industry is also not so let's say not so mature. I mean, compared to the traditional production way, it means there could be lots of uncertainty, lots of possible changes that we cannot imagine before. But in maybe next several days, there will be new technology, new ways, new operation model that can be invented into this market. So we need to be fast, react to this change, and thinking out of the box, then how we react to that. And this can is that we learn from this new whole industry. And also, I'm happy that we are living in China market, and we can get very strong support from our supplier, from our whole value chain. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. Kitty, I mean, Materialize did a fantastic survey coming out end of last year, and they are mentioning that 50% of Chinese manufacturers already see AM challenging the China's leading position in manufacturing, and they say there are still reservations for the new technology. How do you experience that when talking to, let's say, classical manufacturers? How do they see in China the development of AM?
I think we can, because China is so large and is so dynamic, we can separate by different industry segment. Take dental industry, for example, you don't need to supply 3D printing to dental industry because it's there, it's already happened. And I think probably Kim will explain more for that. For aerospace industry in China, we see people are open their heart. Recently, I just participated COMAC. It's a commercial aircraft corporation of China. They opened the door to all the 3D printing companies, which is very unusual. In China, usually the buyers, they hold a kind of arrogant position. But now they change the attitude completely, and they want to hug everyone from 3D printing industry, and they set up a additive manufacturing alliance in order to seek what 3D printing can benefit to the production and product design. So this is one very consumer industry for dental, one very high-end industry for aerospace. And we also have industries like dynamo industry. You see that there are already some companies, they are specialized to 3D print the dynamo for such kind of industry. But a lot of other industry, take automotive, for example. I have visited SAC, it's Shanghai Automotive Industry Corporation. Actually, they are fully aware about 3D printing. They bought all of the books I wrote, and they studied very hard. But the problem they met currently is they don't produce, the very expensive cars. For example, for cars which is about 500,000, which is around 60,000 euro, I think. That is not what we produce in China at the moment. We produce cheaper cars, indeed, but they are equipped in the mindset. They know what is going to happen. 3D printing can deliver to this industry. The only thing is there is still a gap for them to do the larger investment like BMW have already done in Germany. So it's a time issue. People are fully aware, and we just need to be more patient for that.
Bart, a question to you. I mean, thank you, Kitty. Is like in AM you work closely together. It's more like a let me call it a platform thing. I would call it. Okay, so you work over industries, technologies. There's materials, processes. So you have to bring a lot of guys or people together in order to do the next step. So I read a current interview where there was talking about the prejudices there still exist for Chinese, let's say, industries. In order, if you work with them together, they take your know-how and do it themselves better. Okay, don't get me wrong; it's not my prejudice, but this is what they stated. How do you experience the openness between foreign manufacturers and Chinese, for example, material supplier or vendors? How is this working together? Is it openly like in all the other AM industry, or how do you experience that?
Yeah, for sure. I think we don't take and develop something better. That probably is Japanese. I'm sorry if because this is my impression. Yeah. And China, we value harmony. We value win-win. And this is the philosophy which Confucius and a lot of the old Asian people have, planted in the bottom of our mindset and our heart. And I think how we treat the foreign technologies very openly. Nobody, even I check with some, take BLT for example. Mm-hmm. It's a Chinese company. Even I check with Dr. Xue Lei, like, what do you think? Are you going to open your heart, for example, to work with Fraunhofer or ACAM? He said, for sure, this is there is no purely competition between nations, and we believe that the world is going to be a better world if we cooperate with each other, and there is no country can win on other countries lost. You have to think a win-win situation as always. You make your partner stronger, and you can develop yourself stronger.
Great statement, by the way. Thank you so much, Kitty. Bart, you want to add something from a European perspective?
I've listened carefully to what Kitty has spoken about, and one of the last things that you mentioned, Kitty, is that in order to progress, you need to cooperate, and I think cooperation is key. Cooperation is key. We experienced that, for instance, as a manufacturer and supplier with our, and Colin can confirm that, with our open material strategy, because as you probably are aware, Sven, 3D printers are no use if you don't have the materials to process. So materials are key and define for large part the attributes of certain parts you have produced. So in an open strategy, you need a lot of partners, and there is a lot of developments going on. So if you want to do it all yourself or by yourself, you will be lagging, and you put yourself outside of the game. So I would even say it's stronger, Kitty. Cooperation and sharing is mandatory. It's mandatory, and we just are in the process of installing some new printer in the high end, and we do that at some research. At the same time as becoming a customer, to do application research work for us, and we build direct connections between those research institutes and the R&D departments. Obviously, we do the normal NDAs. We also have a German subsidiary, so we include that in our deal making. To be fair, to take some of the sentiment away, Sven, that still is around from you could say the old days, if I may say so. But these are all points to support. Katie was stating earlier on that also, if you want to succeed in China, as well as for China companies to succeed as a global company, is cooperation. Yes.
Great. Leads me to Kim. Let's touch a little bit the cultural thing, Kim, because when we discussed, the first thing we were speaking about is that at least you need to experience China in person to understand a little bit better the culture. I mean, even better is to live there for a while. So I've been several times in China, and I can say I made just positive experience. I would rather say very positive experience with the working culture, with the cooperation. Exactly what Kitty said. So any project I was initiating, I reached so much or get so much support there. But Kim, I mean, you had a reason to go to China. Now you live there. Can you agree on that, what I'm saying? And what is your experience?
Yes, completely. Of course. I wouldn't stay here if it wouldn't be like that. Let's put it like that. So, first of all, I really like it, the working environment as well. People are hardworking, always want to go for extra. For example, here, if they have a deadline, they will even work through the night if necessary. So it's a really like a hard-working culture. But also they're super curious, which I love about China and the Chinese. So they will ask all kinds of questions, which is amazing, which we would think in Europe, oh no, nobody would ever in Europe ask this kind of question, but it's very nice. And it makes it, if you're open to this and you're comfortable with this, that you make friends easily. And it's very nice. So I'm still enjoying it every day. And then, of course, it's the industry, it's working with the Chinese day in, day out. Also, if you bump into challenges, they will try to find a solution. So there's always solutions for everything. There's always a way to make it happen. So it's super nice.
So I agree again, and don't get me wrong, the thing I want to point that out is that I think AM could be a role model in order to get us closer together and to get a better understanding, because there are two worlds coming together, and in my opinion, the best of two worlds will bring us forward, and especially AM. So Colin, more like an industrial question again. So we were talking a lot about serious production the last couple of days, how many numbers we can produce with AM. Still a factor that's been criticized at AM, in my opinion, not the right thing because it's not the purpose. But if we see the survey I just mentioned, they are always talking about serious production or mass production with AM. How do you see this topic in China? Could China be a breakthrough there?
This now is becoming a very hot topic, because before we only thought that AM technology can only be used in the R&D process, but if we want to go further and longer, then we need to put this technology into the production and even serious production. So actually, we invest a lot. Our company invests a lot, and this is the example to reflect the whole industry situation. So like the show up that we are investing a lot to go deeper into this industry, and also there's lots of examples like jigs fixture, like also. So before we only want we have an advantage in just small production by the customized solution or tailored solution. But today, if we want to run further and longer than what we know before, then we need to go to serious production. And now I see lots of examples from the industry, Chinese industry. They are invested a lot in this, and you can see. Some also new product launch maybe this year and next year that they want to step into this field and to prove something. And this is you will see lots of Chinese company will be the very leading example for that.
Great. So Kitty, Kim, go ahead.
Yes. Sorry. Because actually the survey that you're referring to, so I worked at Materialize China for 10 years, a little bit over 10 years, and it was one of the surveys that we did at Materialize China, and was a very nice survey to do actually, also to see that one of the challenges that was there in the market, that a lot of people were still lacking understanding of 3D printing. And actually there is one thing that I wanted to highlight, because 3D printing is a tool, right? It's not a goal, it's a tool. So what we see, for example, here in the dental market as well, is that people are using, so dental labs and clinics are using our complete solutions integrated with AI, and so we use big data, Internet of Things. So 3D printer is just one part of it, and the aim is to make your original manufacturing methods smoother, faster, better quality-wise. The aim here is not to use 3D printing, but use it as part of the whole process. And so we should actually build on that. So it's we should make it easy for people to use in industries so that they can adopt it fastly. And if they see it now as a hurdle to learn from, then we will still keep on struggling to introduce this technology into new manufacturing environments or new applications. So I think that's one of the challenges here.
Great. So you just mentioned it, and Kitty, you said you're supplying books, or they were reading your books, your reports, as far as understood, the automotive manufacturer. So what about the education in China? Do you have enough talents to do so? I mean, this is a major thing here we discussed over the last 2 days as well here in the different panels, that sometimes we have a generic education but not specified on additive manufacturing. How's the situation in China, Kitty? And are there enough talents in order to serve this growth and this speed? Because you need a lot of people for that, right?
Yeah, it's very challenging for education. And I visited some 3D printing companies. They usually do the combination. For example, you need some expert for 3D printing Dynamode. You hire someone who is very good in Dynamode, and someone who is good at 3D printing, or someone is good at laser, and you make a combination, and you combine probably 2 or 3% know-how into one. And for education, the Chinese government, MOE, Ministry of Education, they strongly encourage the universities to open the subject for 3D printing. For example, in Shanghai, I have get contact with some universities. They are going to open the subject for 3D printing, but there is no very few teachers who can do this kind of course at the moment. So the government has have to reach out to the society. They have a very smart solution, I think. It's they asking for the help from the companies. For example, Pero Global, they have set up a series of 3D printing courses from topology design, generative design to simulation. It's very in-depth, very high-end courses. I think it's one education in the campus is one thing. Education online is another thing we can do, probably to help to solve the issue for lacking of talent, because it's indeed a very big challenge in China at the moment. But as Kim always mentioned, Chinese are optimists, and we always find a solution. Yeah, I believe that.
Great, thank you. Another question that we discussed a lot during the Formnext, kind of the top topic here in the last 2 days is sustainability. So Bart, Colin, Intamsys or HeyGears, how much is that topic influencing your daily work? So is there a discussion about sustainability? I mean, the acceptance that additive manufacturing is a sustainable manufacturing method, I think this is clear, but is it already integrated in your daily work and your strategic thinking behavior, and how important is that for your companies? Probably, Colin, make a start if you want.
Bart, you can start.
Okay.
That's perfectly all right. Yeah, I think if we touch upon the topic of sustainability, it is, at least from my perception, so I'm careful, Kim, Colin, this is something that is very much driven by our customers, first and foremost. It's something driven by the market. And of course, there is also, at least here in Europe, in a general sense, it's picked up by, for all the right reasons, by the politicians. But I think it is the people that want sustainability. The people translate this into their desires, into the manufacturers. And the manufacturers are the ones that buy the tooling, as Kim said, the equipment. So in that chain, there is a drive from our customers. And one of the beauties of working in additive manufacturing is that with our solutions, we anyway, on the larger scale, contribute to more sustainable behavior, wasting less material, just doing it subtractive, not doing it subtractive, but additive. To my knowledge, Colin, we also have certain parts in we are not unique in that, but that is the case for, I believe, for quite a few manufacturers. We do actually additively produce some of our parts in our equipment, and therefore also build more sustainable than in a traditional fashion if you build a machine. So I think we all are, even without being overly conscious of this, contributing to sustainability, simply because the market drives us in this direction. And as I said, additive manufacturing has a special place in this.
Great. Kim, you want to add something?
Yes, so I think it's one of the things the government here is pushing as well. So I think it's two-sided. It's on one hand, it's a culture thing inside the company that people should create awareness, which a couple of years ago was not there. I do believe that it changed a lot in the last years in China. And especially now, governments are getting more and more strict. So you see that in your supply chain, right? So you see that the way that here in the south of China, so we're based in the south, you have all these little shops. And you see that actually they get more and more strict on the way they can do, for example, processing and all of this, because this has all to do with your environment. And so the government is really pushing for this, which means also that people need to start thinking in different ways. And on the other hand, it's a company mentality that people care more about the environment, what we supply here in the office, for example, like the company will make sure that everybody has their cup. It's in small little things, but it's a mindset, and we're getting there. It's a different thing than a couple of years ago. We still have a long way to go, though. If we see what kind of waste we're producing in China, I mean, if you see all the courier services and everything, there's still a lot of improvements to do here, but it's a mentality change that is going on.
Great. I think this is everywhere the case, but it's good to hear it. Let us use the last 3 minutes for getting a statement of each of you. Please state what is the hottest topic in the next 1 or 2 years in China from your perspective. That's not for me, honestly. It's more for the viewers in order to see where they can step in and put a focus on if they want to work with the Chinese market. Kitty, you might start. What is the hottest product, material process topic that is coming up the next 1 or 2 years in China?
Next 1 or 2 years, as you mentioned, the China manufacturing 2025. We want to set innovation as the core driver for the whole manufacturing. I believe this is happening now, and this is going to continue to happen in the next 2 or 5 years. And myself, I have visited some universities. I see the innovation is quite an enthusiasm. How to say? Innovation is happening everywhere. I visit Shenzhen University. They are doing the ceramic 3D printing by plastic. If you burn it and then it turns into ceramic. They are also trying to develop 3D printing batteries. And in Shanghai Jiao Tong University, they invent a sort of ceramic enhanced aluminum powder. So this kind of powder is aiming for mass production. It's not in situation enhanced. It's premixed in the powder phase. So such kind of initiatives are going to drive, we can imagine only if you think about aluminum, which can actually, if you print it for mechanical properties, it can be the same kind of sort of mechanical properties like the middle temperature titanium.
Okay.
Previously, automotive industry, they are only jealous about aerospace industry, which can adopt titanium for lightweight purpose, but they cannot afford titanium on a larger base. But such kind of aluminum, I think, it is going to happen for automotive industry, and I'm going to see new materials. Comes up under the combination of a new design and 3D printing technology, turns out to be a more economic, a more functional, powerful part for the larger industry, such as automotive industry. I believe that I see that China has set a trend for electronic automotive manufacturing, and are going to be a key player in the worldwide. And I believe that China is going to be a key player in additive manufacturing factory industry too. And this is going to happen in 2 and 3 years.
So I hope for the other 3, Kitty summed it up well, because we're running out of time. I'm so sorry. I can't hand over the word again. To all 4 of you, it was inspiring, it was informative, and I loved it, to be honest. Thank you joining us here in the studio. Very valuable insights we got from the country. I hope to see you soon over there in live, and want to go back to China as soon as I can. See you hopefully there. Otherwise, probably next year at Formnext. Good luck with your corporations. Good luck with your activities. Hope to see you soon healthy. Bye-bye, guys. It was a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Sven.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.